She burst onto the political scene like a Molotov cocktail in heels. The Bronx bartender turned congresswoman, the working-class Latina David against Goliath's corporate Democrats. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was supposed to be different. She called herself a democratic socialist. She filmed viral ads walking through the Bronx in gold hoops and red lipstick, declaring, "Women like me aren't supposed to run for office." She refused corporate PAC money. She spoke about Palestine, about universal health care, about the climate crisis with fire, fury, and charisma. In 2018, she unseated 10-term incumbent Joe Crowley and became the youngest woman ever elected to Congress. She was 29 years old, full of promise, and a lightning rod for a disillusioned generation. And that's exactly what made her so dangerous. Because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez wasn't a revolutionary. She was a brand, a rebrand, a test balloon by the Democratic machine to seduce back the millennials and Gen Z voters who were defecting en masse. She looked like change, she talked like revolution. But she played by all the old rules, and eventually, she folded into the very system she once claimed to fight. The sellout wasn't dramatic. It wasn't one big betrayal. It was death by 1,000 compromises. One vote here, one silence there. A growing taste for photo ops, gala gowns, Netflix documentaries, and the sweet stench of celebrity. And as always, the ones who cheered the loudest were the people she was supposed to challenge. Let's break it down. AOC arrived in Washington preaching the gospel of the people. She told her followers to tax the rich, then wore a designer dress with that slogan to the $35,000 a head Met Gala, posing like a Vogue cover girl with the very elites she claimed to oppose. When criticized, she deflected with identity politics. "It's because I'm a working-class woman of color," she claimed. But if your radicalism fits neatly into a red carpet ensemble, it's not radical, it's costume. She claimed to fight for the working class, but backed a corporate shill like Joe Biden without hesitation. This is the man who authored the 1994 crime bill, voted for the Iraq War, and stood on the wrong side of every progressive cause for 40 years. AOC didn't just endorse him, she became his cheerleader. Suddenly settling for Biden was spun as a moral imperative. She built a brand around speaking truth to power, but now avoids the most explosive truths entirely. Take Israel and Palestine. In 2018, AOC called the massacre of Gaza protesters a massacre. She stood with Ilhan Omar when she was smeared for speaking about AIPAC's influence. But in 2021, during yet another Israeli bombardment of Gaza, AOC sobbed on the House floor. Not for the Palestinians being bombed, but because she abstained from voting on a bill to give Israel another $1 billion in military aid. She didn't vote no. She didn't stand on principle. She folded. When pressured by the pro-Israel lobby, she broke down and cried, and then voted yes on funding the very bombs that slaughter children in Rafah, Khan Yunis, and Nusayrat. She has since retreated into carefully curated statements, tiptoeing around genocide while maintaining support for the two-state myth, a fairy tale long dead. AOC was supposed to be bold. Instead, she chose brand safety. She was elected to fight Nancy Pelosi, then voted for her as speaker. She was elected to primary the status quo. Now she's its photogenic PR agent. Every revolutionary instinct has been replaced with strategic compromise. Every act of rebellion has been transformed into marketing. The Squad became just another congressional clique, another Netflix franchise to consume and forget. But maybe the saddest part isn't what she did. It's how many people still think she's one of the good ones. Because that's the genius of the system. When they can't kill the message, they absorb the messenger. AOC wasn't destroyed by the establishment. She became its most useful illusion. A young, brown feminist face for a dying party. A distraction. A diversion. A living TikTok filter pasted over brutal imperialism and corporate rot. She keeps the left hopeful while delivering them absolutely nothing. And the media plays along. They love her. Not because she threatens power, but because she keeps the illusion of democracy alive. She talks about climate justice while voting for bills that fund oil companies and weapons manufacturers. She talks about healthcare, refusing to force the vote on Medicare for all. She posts Instagram lives where she bakes cookies and dishes on her skincare routine. That's not politics, it's reality TV. And still, she's worshipped. That's what makes AOC dangerous. Not what she is, but what people think she is. A martyr, a rebel, a future president, the left's last hope, when in reality, she is the embodiment of the managed rebellion, a safe outlet for fury, a sponge for young progressives' hopes and fears, only to leave them exactly where they started. It's no coincidence that her rise coincided with the collapse of Bernie's campaign, the death of Occupy, and the rise of political nihilism. When people lost faith in the system gave them AOC. And like every false prophet before her, she was embraced until the moment she outlived her usefulness. Because here's the truth. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez never changed the system. The system changed her. And now she's just another suit in Congress, chasing algorithms, dodging real conflict, selling merch, and praying that no one notices how little she actually delivers. She's not the voice of the voiceless. She's the spokesperson of the spectacle, a creature of social media, an algorithm in heels. And behind the perfectly filtered posts, the Netflix specials, the staged tears, and carefully chosen words lies the hollow echo of a movement that never was. AOC sold herself as the future. Turns out, she was just the rebrand. Order the Spartan Mindset today and embark on your journey toward becoming the leader your world needs. Let your struggles forge you into a warrior of character and resolve. The Spartan Mindset provides a comprehensive and actionable guide to personal development and resilience. Available now for just $19.99. Purchase your copy from the links in the description box below and on this channel's homepage. Because your future begins with the right mindset. The Spartan Mindset.